Good morning, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle that isn't one of the Hamilton Sudoku series. This is Staurolite by Bellsita and dumediat. I actually know who created this puzzle. Yay! So the Hamilton Sudoku series, I did want to mention it. It's a series of, I think, 20 puzzles so far that I've covered, which are all designed to be more approachable than a lot of the stuff that I've done. They were created for me by some setters from Skunkworks. To help me through some difficult times, and so that I could record a bunch of puzzles quickly. So that's why they're more approachable. I could record basically one after another and queue them in advance. But now I'm wanting to return to something a bit more normal. There probably will be more puzzles in that series. There is a playlist that you can find in the playlist section, which will have all of those, but they were just released day after day. Other stuff I've been doing for my own relaxation is I've got another channel now, Bremster Games, where I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3. I've recorded my entire Season 28 journey. That's been a lot of fun, with some frustration, but a lot of fun, and that's where I'm going to do some role-playing stuff and everything. By the time this comes out, I'm hoping the second edition of Fantasy Age is out, and I may have done some stuff on that. We'll see. But let's have a look at this puzzle, Staurolite by Bellsita and dumediat. Now, this one is a little bit interesting to me. And yeah, so I'll get into the history when I get to it. So, how does this one work? So, normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We have XVXV rules, and the way they work is cells separated by a V must sum to either 5 or 15, and cells separated by an X must sum to either 10 or 15. Not all X's and V's are given. So it's possible that these two cells will sum to 5 or 15 or 10 or 15 or whatever. Now, pink cages are Psycho Look-and-Say cages. So this is a combination of Psycho Killer and Look-and-Say, or the Psycho rule with Look-and-Say cages. Now, the Psycho rule is something I came up with Psycho Killer, and Look-and-Say is the rule that Directionary came up with. Now, I've actually done something like this before with a variation I came up with I called them Hunter cages, and I created a puzzle called Bounty, which was basically, but I'll explain this one first. So the way they work is, so the way the Psycho rule works is that every cell in one of these cages is going to refer to a different cell somewhere, or refer to a cell, not necessarily a different, but refer to a cell somewhere in the grid. And the way that works is, let's use this cage as an example. If I was to put a 2 here, what that means is this is now referring to a cell in box 2, and it will refer to the cell in the same position in box 2 as this is in box 1. So, for example, this being a 2 means it refers to that cell. If this was a 6, it would refer to the cell in box 6 in the same position, so it would refer to that cell. And that's all the Psycho Killer rule is. So if this cell was an 8, it would refer to, in box 8, the cell in the same position as this is in this box. So it would refer to that cell. That's all the Psycho Killer rule is. Now, the Look-and-Say rule means that when, instead of this being a 39 clue, you read the clue as 39. And what that means is this cage must contain 3 9s. But because this is a Psycho Look-and-Say, what it means is the digits in this cage will refer to 3 9s. So the referrals that these cages have will point to 3 9s. Now, when I created, so again, what that would mean is if this is a 2 and pointing at this cell, it means that this could, would have to actually be a 9, because this has to point, that's what that means basically. Because yes, I'm explaining this badly. I haven't had to do a novel rules explanation, I think, in a month. Um, but because of the referral, hopefully you can wrap your head around this. The important thing to remember is the look and say means that this cage must refer to three nines, and the way the referral works is, and this one only has to refer to 1, 2. So one of these cells is going to refer to a 2, not all of them. But the way the referral works is whichever digit you put into this cage, even 6, even if it was a 5, it refers to in box 5, the cell in the same position. Now, what I was trying to say before is I created the puzzle called Bounty, which had hunter cages in them, and I didn't use the look and say rule where it was 3 9. I would have just said 999, and this cage would have just had 2. And a 2 meant that one of the cells here had to refer to 2. A 999 would have meant this cage had to have 3 nines in it. And that's the way I did the hunter cages. But this is a better way of doing it, I feel, because it's grabbing two growing constraints and putting them together rather than trying to come up with something new. So I think this is a much better way of doing it. They're the rules for this puzzle. That's all we've got. We've got XVXV and the Psycho Look-and-Say cages. Now, these are two less known, well, they're three less known constraints, but they're things that I'm a little bit more familiar with than most people. So hopefully I'll be able to struggle through this one. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. Now, one thing which I was struggling to try and not explain while I was giving the rules explanation is this cage has to point to 3 nines. This cage has to point to 3 4s. This cage has to point to 3 3s. And this cage has to point to 3 2s. So, however this works, I can't... Like, if this is a 5 clue, for example, I would know it had to be 1 4 because it couldn't be 2 3. And the reason it couldn't be 2 3 is if it was 2 3, then these would point to one of those cells and one of those cells. But because this is 3 9, it would mean one of those would have to be 9 and one of those would have to be 9. And that's not going to work. It would put 9s in those rows. And that would be a problem. I can't put 9 here and 9 here. So if this was a 5 clue, but this could be a 15 clue. But if it was a 15 clue, it couldn't be 7 8 because I would have the same problem. So this is either a 6 9 or a 1 4. Which is interesting, maybe? But it does mean this is a 1 4 6 9. Okay, so there's something about XVXV which is important to understand. So I'm going to use this box to explain it. So if you think about, pardon me, XVXV breaks the digits because you can never put 5 onto a V or an X, even in XVXV, because 5 to sum to 5 would need 5 0. 5 to sum to 10 would need 5 5, and you can't put 5 5 next to each other. And 5 to sum to 15 would need 5 10, and 10 is not available. So you can never put 5 on this. Now, if you look at the digits that can go with 1, you can have 1 and 4 to get to 5, and you can have 1 and 9 to get to 15. But you to 10, but you can never get 1 and 14 to get to 15. So 1 4 9 is all you've got. Now, if you start with 4, then you can do 4 and 1 to get to 5, 4 and 6 to get to 10, and you can't get 4 to 15. Now, if you start with 6, 6 and 4 gets you to 10. You can't use 6 to get to 5, and 6 and 9 gets you to 15. And if you start with 9, you can't use 9 to get to 5. You can't use 9 to get to... 9 and 1 gets you to 10, and 9 and 6 gets you to 15. So once you have one of 1, 4, 6, or 9 on one of these clues, you must have the other. And the same is true with 2, 3, 7, and 8, because 2 and 3 is 5, 2 and 8 is 10, and you can't use 2 to get to 15. 3 and 7 is 10, 3 and 2 is 5, and you can't use 3 to get to 15. 7 and 3 is 10. 7 and 8 is 15, and you can't use 7 to get to 5. And 8 and 2 is 10. 8 and 7 is 15, and you can't use 8 to get to 5. So you end up with the digits broken into these sets. Now up here, I can't use 2, 3, or 7, 8 on this. So this is 1, 4, 6, 9. Because if I use 2, 3, then 9s would have to go in there. And if I use 7, 8, then 9s would have to go in there. So this has to be a 1, 4, 6, 9 set. Now, this is either a 10 or a 15, so I can't use a 1 or a 4 on it. So this has to be 6 or 9. But that doesn't... I can't put a 1 in here. If I put a 1 in here, it's pointing to itself and isn't pointing to a 9. So there is no 1 in here, which means this isn't a 5 clue. This is a 15 clue. It can't be a 4. This is a 6, 9. Therefore, this is a... No, wait. I've got this wrong. This is... So what's... This is a 10 clue. This can't be a 5 clue. Because for it to be a 5 clue, it can't be a 2, 3, because it would have to have a 9 in one of those. And it can't be a 2... It can't be a 1, 4, because if I put a 1 in here, it's pointing to itself and isn't pointing to a 9. This has to be a 15. And it can't be 7, 8, because 7, 8 would put 9 here and here. This is 6, 9. So this is a 10 clue. This is a 1, 4. I got that one wrong, but this is correct. So what does that do? So this has to point to 3 4s. Now, if this is a 15, it's 7, 8, and it can't do that because those would be 4s. So this has to be a 10 clue. And it can't be... So this is either... It can't be 4, 6 because I don't have 6 available. So it's either 3, 7 or 2, 8. But I can't put 3 in here. Because if I put 3 in here, it's pointing to itself, and this has to point to 3 4s. So there's no 3, 7 in here. This is 2, 8. So this... If this is a V clue, this is a... And this can't be a V clue. Because if this is a V clue, a 5 clue, this is 2, 3. And I can't put a 3 in here because the 3 would be pointing to itself. So this, if this is a 2, this is a 3, and it's broken. This is the 8. This is the 2. 8 means that this is a 15 clue. That becomes a 7. And that means that this, because that's pointing to there, 7 is there, and 8 is there. Those are 4s. And this now can't be this can't be a 15 clue because that would be an 11. So this is a 5 clue. This is a 1. But I only have to put 2 5s in there. So that's not given me... This is nuts. And I appreciate that not everyone would follow this. So if this is a 15 clue, it's 6, 9, and it can't be because this has to point to 3 2s. And to point to 3 2s, I can't put a 9 in the cage because the 9 would be self-referential and pointing to a 9. So this can't be 6, 9. So this is not a 15 clue, it's a 10 clue. So it can't be 3, 7 or 2, 8. So... And it can't be 1, 9, because 1, 9 would include a self-referential 9. So it's 4, 6. And the 4 here is giving me the order. This is the 6, this is the 4. This now can't be a 15 clue. This is a 1. That's pointing to there, and those all become 2s. This now can't be a 15. That's an 8. Does that mean I can just roll around this? I feel I've missed something. This can't be a 1. If this is a 1, it's a self-referential 1, and therefore can't be pointing to a 9. So this is the 4, which means this is a 6 because 4 can't get to 15. This is the 6. This is the 9. This 4 points to here. This 6 points to here. This 9 points to here. And those are all 9s. This is now not a -4. So this is a 6. Now, if this is a V clue, it's 2, 3. No, the other way to look at it is that this is a 15 clue. It's 7, 8 because I can't use 6 or 9. And I can't put 7 in this because it'd be self-referential. This has to be a V clue. So it has to be 2, 3 because it can't be 1, 4. Now this can't be a 15 clue. So this has to be 7, 8. And I can't put 7 in this box because it'd be self-referential and it has to point to 2 3s. So this is 8, this is 2, this is 3. 8 points to there, the 2 points to there. No, the 2 points to there, the 3 points to there, and those are all 3s. Which means by Sudoku, that's a 3. There's probably a heap of Sudoku now. Like 3, 3, that's a 3. And that's putting 3 in there, one of those 2 and one of those 3. That's not ideal. 4, 4. 4 is in one of those 2. 8, no. That is a 7 because I can't be a 12. Now this has to point to 2 5s. Now that's pointing to there, so that can't be a 5. That is pointing to there, so that can't be a 5. That is pointing to there, that could be. That is pointing to there, that could be. And that could be. So 2 of those are 5s. Do I want to start marking these quads? No, but that's a 9 by Sudoku. 9 is in... No, 9 can't be there or there. That's a 9 by Sudoku. 1, 5, 6, and 7. So 6 is in one of those 2. Which places 6 there. So this is now a pair because 6 can't be in there or there because of that one. That became a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 go in there. This is very weird. This is also a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not a 7. So 7 is in one of those 2. So 7, 7, 7 is in one of those 2. 1, 4, 5, and 6 in here. So 1 is in one of those 2. 4, 1, 4. So this is 5 or 6. I feel column 5 might be something to look at, but I'm not sure. There's still a lot of options for it. Like this cell can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be 5, 6, 8, or 9. Now that can't be a 2. That can't be a 2. That can't be a 2. This cannot point to the 2 because Neither that, because there's a 2 in the column in the box. That or that can be a 2. So this is not pointing to the 2. So this has to point to a 2. So it can't be 1. It could be 2. Can't be 3, can't be 4. Could be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7. Could be 8. Can't be 9. So this is 2, 5, or 8 only. Which means the 2 in this column is in one of those 3 cells. No, it can't be 5. This is 2 or 8 only. Because 2 is in one of those 2 cells. This is a 2 or an 8. So there's a 2 in one of those. Now, if this is an 8, this becomes a 2. Which means it's not pointing at the 5, and this would have to point at a 5. Yeah, could work. There might be a trick there I'm missing. I get the feeling that I'm missing Sudoku here. Because I've done all the XVXV. There's a 2 in here. So 2, 5, 7, and 8. Nine is in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5. It sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is a naked single 5. So are these just 2, 6, 8, and 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, these are 2, 6, 8, and 9. There's no 6 there. There's no 9 there. Actually, there's no 6 there either. So this is a 2, 8 pair. So there's no 8 there. This is the 9. This is the 6. Now, 9 is pointing to there. 2 and 8. Well, that's not a... Right, that's not a 5. And that if this was an 8, it's not pointing at a 5. So this has to point at a 5. That becomes the 5. That becomes the 7. That becomes the 5. This is 2 and 8. Giving me a 2, 8 pair in the row. But this is actually pointing at the 5. This can't, and this can't point at a 5. So this is now done. This still has to point at... Because this can't point at a 2, so this has to point at a 2, and that's not a 2. So that's the 2, and that's the 8. Which means that's the 2, and that's the 8. Wow, that's really, really clever. Now, this is definitely pointing at a 5. So either that or that has to be a 5, and that can't be. So this, right here, that has... Yeah, 8, that can't be a 5. Because if that's a 5, I've got a conflict. So this is not the 5. This has to be the 5, which points there, which means that's the 6. These are now 1 and 7. This, therefore, is a 1 and a 7. These are 1, 2, and 7. And this is now done. That's not pointing at a 5. That's not pointing at a 5. Right? This is now done. And I've done all the Psycho. I'm now down to just Sudoku. This is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this 1 is telling me the order. 5 and 1. Puts a 5 in one of those 2. I'm not sure where to look. This 5 is taking 5 out of there. So nowhere looks particularly weak. There's quads everywhere. 1, this column, 1, 5, 7, 8. So this is 5 or 8 because it sees 1, 7. There's 1 or 7 because it sees 5 and 8. 1, 5, 8. That's 1, 5, 7, 8. That's not helping. 1, 7 there because it sees 5 and 8, and this is 1, 5, 7, 8 in the box. So that's a 1, 7 pair. So this is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There's no 6 there. This is starting again to feel like a puzzle that had been both tested. So I've noticed that there's a lot of people using, there's a button that autofills pencil marks and stuff, and then you use a conflict checker. I wonder if this was tested a lot with that. So is this 1, 3, 4, 7? So I can't put 1 here. Where is 1 in this row? It's not here, and it's not here because of the 1, 7 pair. This is the 1. So there's no 1 up here. This is a 5, 8 pair. This becomes the 7. There's no 7 here. This is the 1, which makes this 7, which makes this 1, which makes this 7 and takes 7 out of those. That takes 7 out of there and makes that 7. So this is 5 or 8. So what is this triple? Because this is 3, 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 5, 7, 8. That's not 5. Neither of those are 7. So that's the 7. This is very weird. So this is the triple in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. So where is the 7 in this row? It's not there and it's not there. So this is a 7. This is a 3, 4, and the 3 makes that the 4 and that the 3, taking 3 out of those. So this is now a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, and 8. There's no 3 or 8 there, so that's the 6, taking 6 out of both of those. 3, 8, of course. Well, the 4 means that there's no 4 there, so that's the 4. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, this is the 6. So this is a 1, 5. So this is 1, 5, or 8. It's 1, 8 because of the 5 there. Pardon me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 in here. No 5 there. No 8 there. Ah, this 6 makes this 4 and this 6. Ah, the 5, 8 pair makes this 3, which makes this 8. So these are now down to pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 2 and 4 go in there. And the 4 there makes that 2 and that 4. So this is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 and 9. And that 3 makes that 9 and that 3. The 9 makes that 5, that 1, that 5, that 1, which makes that 8, that 9. The 8 makes that 5 and that 8. The 8 makes that 5 and that 8. This 1 looks down, making that 2 and that 1. And that is Staurolite by Bellsita and dumediat. That was really cool. Probably the hardest puzzle I've done on the channel in a few weeks. Knowledge of XVXV and the 1, 4, 6, 9, 2, 3, 7, 8 sets helped me. And definitely knowing the way the psycho pointing, probably, I still think I'm probably one of the most skilled people at the psycho stuff out there. Kind of came up with it. I've been playing with it for a couple of years now. Yeah, definitely helped me. Spotting very quickly that these were restricted to the particular sets because I couldn't use 2, 3, or 7, 8, I think helped me a lot. should have picked earlier that this couldn't be a 1 because the self-referential cells in these cages were immediately eliminated. That is something I should have picked a lot faster. That was stunningly fun. I understand that people may get a little bit stuck with that one, and I apologize if my explanation at the beginning wasn't very good. Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that puzzle. I did. That was stunningly fun. Hope you're enjoying the content on both of the channels. As I said, if you're not interested in the video gaming stuff, that's fine. I know most of you have found me through puzzling, though I could really do with getting a lift on that one. Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, as always, good luck with your solving.